In France, the emergency number's 15, medical, 17, police, and 18, trained firefighters, or the European-wide number 112, are dialed millions of times every year. Most calls are for routine accidents or health problems, but sometimes the voices on the line capture history, tragedy, and even heroism. In this program, we will explore 10 real emergency calls from France, moments when ordinary people picked up the phone in extraordinary circumstances. Some calls shocked the nation, others became symbols of courage. But all of them remind us of one truth. In critical moments, a single call can change everything. Story 1. The Paris attacks of November 2015. On the night of November 13, 2015, Paris was shaken by coordinated terrorist attacks. Explosions at the Stade de France, shootings at restaurants, and a mass hostage situation at the Bataclan Concert Hall left the city in chaos. Emergency lines were overwhelmed. Calls came from terrified concertgoers hiding under seats, whispering, "They're shooting. Please, come quickly." Dispatchers, trying to remain calm, collected details and instructed callers to stay hidden until police entered. Other calls came from the streets of Paris, people describing gunfire, bodies, and injured friends. The recordings later became a chilling testimony of how ordinary citizens lived through one of the darkest nights in modern French history. Story 2. The AZF factory explosion in Toulouse, 2001. On September 21, 2001, a massive explosion ripped through the AZF chemical factory in Toulouse. The blast was so powerful, it shattered windows across the city, killed 31 people, and injured thousands. The emergency lines lit up instantly. One call came from a factory worker, his voice shaking as he described collapsed buildings and people trapped under rubble. Others called from kilometers away, reporting smoke clouds and thinking it was a terrorist attack. Dispatchers had to sort through confusion, panic, and contradictory information. Those calls guided firefighters and medics to the worst-hit areas, helping save hundreds of people. Story 3. A child in Lyon saves his father. Not all emergency calls are from adults. In Lyon, a 10-year-old boy dialed 15 when his father collapsed in the living room from a heart attack. The dispatcher gently guided him through CPR instructions. Place your hands on his chest. Push hard. Push fast. For several minutes, the boy followed every instruction while crying, determined to help. Paramedics arrived and took over, later confirming that the boy's quick actions had kept his father alive long enough to be saved. This story spread through French media as a symbol of courage and the importance of teaching children how to call for help. Story 4. Mont Blanc Tunnel Fire, 1999. On March 24, 1999, a truck caught fire inside the Mont Blanc Tunnel, which connects France and Italy. The fire spread rapidly, trapping dozens of drivers in thick smoke. Emergency calls came from inside vehicles. One man, barely audible through coughing, told operators, "I can't see, I can't breathe." He was instructed to stay inside his car with windows sealed, but the smoke was overwhelming. The tunnel blaze killed 39 people. The calls recorded that day became crucial for understanding how quickly the disaster unfolded and why stricter tunnel safety measures were needed. Story 5. The Storms of 1999. At the end of 1999, France was struck by two of the most violent storms in its modern history. Winds of more than 170 kilometers per hour tore across the country, killing over 140 people and destroying power lines and homes. Emergency lines were flooded. Families called from houses where roofs had blown off, describing trees crashing through walls. One caller whispered from a cellar where their family had taken shelter. "The whole house is shaking. What should we do?" Dispatchers, themselves working through the storm, guided callers with survival advice until rescuers could reach them. Story 6, Charlie Hebdo Attack, 2015. On January 7, 2015, gunmen stormed the offices of the satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo in Paris. Inside, survivors dialed **17, whispering that they were hiding while the attackers moved through the building. Operators instructed them to stay silent and hidden until police secured the scene. These emergency calls gave authorities crucial real-time updates during the manhunt that followed. Story 7, Train Derailment at Bretigny-sur-Orge, 2013. In July 2013, a high-speed train derailed at Bretigny-sur-Orge station near Paris, killing 7 people and injuring dozens. Witnesses immediately called 112, describing mangled train cars and passengers trapped inside. Some callers begged for instructions on how to help the injured. Dispatchers relayed advice. If it is safe, stop the bleeding. Keep them awake. Those first calls mobilized one of the largest emergency responses in recent French history. Story 8, Nice Truck Attack, 2016. On Bastille Day, July 14, 2016, a truck was deliberately driven through crowds celebrating in Nice. The emergency lines were overwhelmed by desperate calls. "There are people everywhere. Please, we need ambulances." Dispatchers tried to sort through hundreds of simultaneous reports to direct rescuers to victims scattered along the Promenade des Anglais. The tragedy killed 86 people, but emergency workers, guided by those calls, saved hundreds more. Story 9, A Fire in Paris Apartment Block, 2019. In February 2019, a devastating fire broke out in an apartment building in Paris, killing 10 people. Calls poured in from residents trapped on balconies. One woman cried into the phone, "We can't get out. The smoke is everywhere." Firefighters, guided by these calls, rushed to specific windows with ladders. Many lives were saved thanks to residents' ability to describe their exact locations. Story 10, Alpine Avalanche Emergency Call. In the French Alps, avalanches are a constant danger. In one case, a skier buried under snow managed to use his phone to dial 112. His voice was muffled, weak, but the dispatcher stayed on the line, gathering clues about his location. Rescue teams traced the call and found him just in time. He later said the voice of the operator gave him hope when he thought he would not survive. From terrorist attacks to natural disasters, from city fires to mountain avalanches, these 10 real emergency calls from France show how fragile life can be and how powerful a single phone call is. Behind every number dialed is a human voice, frightened, desperate, or brave, and on the other end is another human voice, calm, steady, guiding people through chaos. The number 112 is more than just digits. In France, as across Europe, it is a lifeline. And these stories remind us that in moments of crisis, one call can save lives.